Longswords, as you and I usually think about them, didn't exist in the time of Fiore and the early Liechtenauer tradition. Now that I've got your attention with a hot take, this is purely opinion, but I'm going to lay out my reasonings for why I say that throughout this video. So this is a response to a video that Mariana Lopez put up. This is not an attack on her whatsoever. I've been to 2 classes that she did, and she is phenomenal. I love all of her content on here. I just have a slight disagreement. There are 2 things that I definitely do agree with her in that video, in that she says, you may do Fiore with any size sword. You absolutely may. If you're the type of person, especially that is more interested in how modern practitioners interact with these sources, that's completely fine. She also says that it would be down to personal preference. I do agree with that. Fiore does mention the length of swords in some plays, but not specifically. However, I think that that personal preference has to fall within the context of the tools of the time. The tools of the time change a lot in warfare, armor, and weapons in the 14th and 15th centuries. Fiore doesn't mention specifically the length of swords, but Vadi does. However, Vadi is 75 to 80 years later. That's a couple of generations. That's not what I'm talking about here. So first, let's dive into the actual extant examples that we have. We have IX, yes, I know it's a Roman numeral, I'm doing this anyways. IX 16, which is 119 centimeters. We have IX 2149, which is 107 centimeters. And we have IX 1106, this famous one that a lot of people base some trainers and replica longswords off of, which is 112.4 centimeters. Now these are all like pretty point-centric, stabby kind of things. So what about more cutty options? Well, we have the Brescia Spadona. That must be a little bit bigger, right? 115.5 centimeters. Okay, so we have nothing above 120 centimeters here. This is not an exhaustive list. Do we have swords of the size that we typically use in modern HEMA in this period? Yes, so we're talking about 135 centimeters or a little bit bigger. We do have those. However, they are ginormous. First of all, we have A474 from the Wallace collection. The blade is 117 centimeters, so it's gotta be 135 or 140 overall. It is a whopping 2.89 kilograms or 6.4 pounds. We have IX 1787. It is 148 centimeters. And it is 2.19 kilos or 4.8 pounds, so still getting close to 5 pounds. And we also have X1. It is 138.2 centimeters, and it is 2.4 kilos or 5.4 pounds. So we have all of these ranging from about 5 pounds to 6.5 pounds at the length that we typically use in HEMA. You can say that there's survivor bias and stuff like that, I agree. However, I think this does tell a tale of what was probably available. So let's go into the source material. I'm going to talk about Fiore here because that's particularly what I know. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the use of this sword in Stretto. This is a 122 centimeter VB Fiore tournament fetter. I am 5'11" with a decent wingspan for my height. I'm going to go over to my friend Mick Yeatwood here for this demonstration. I'm going to put Mick in a Ligadura Mezzana, very gingerly because he has short arms and he is supported by a kitchen chair. And I'm going to try to stab him. I can, but I have to draw my arm back fairly far. It's not super comfortable on my shoulder joint. If I raise it, it's a little easier. And it is totally possible to do. Other Stretto plays, there is the similar issue. So even a 122 centimeter sword on somebody who's 5'11", for me, it's a little bit difficult. Yes, I can do Stretto plays, but I would prefer something a little bit shorter. We also have the sword in one hand section of Fiore. Same sword. We also have the sword on horseback section of Fiore. Same sword. So I'm by no means an expert on this whatsoever. If you have evidence to the contrary of what I'm saying, please put it in comments below. I'm more than happy to take that into consideration. And again, this is no drama with Mariana. She's awesome. And again, if this is something that doesn't completely concern you, that's completely fine. However, if you are interested in the historical context in which these manuals were written, I think that this is something worth at least exploring and playing around with, is the length of our swords. So with those 3 points of extant examples, personal experience using a sword of a little bit over the extant examples, and the source material, these are the reasons why I think that